Now we're going to be working on collaborating. So collaborating with teams and collaborating with intake. So when you're working with somebody with a dual diagnosis, there are teams that you may have to collaborate in order to help the peer that we're serving. And especially if they are somebody that has a service coordinator or other providers, we really want to make sure that we are on the same page and that we're working towards the same things and that we are not being a hindrance, that we're actually being a support or supplement. So an example of a team that you might be part of would be someone's service coordination meetings. These meetings will consist of the service coordinator, yourself, family, friends, and other providers. And these meetings happen as frequently as they need to. So we may have ones that only have a meeting once a year. We may have ones that have a meeting once a month. Those are kind of more treatment team meeting types. Our role is to understand everyone's involvement with the peer and how we can help. We want, again, to be supportive and supplemental, and we kind of want to know what other providers are doing just because we don't want to step on anybody's toes, and we want to make sure that, maybe we can be a little bit more of a support to that provider because maybe they're not there as often, or vice versa. Maybe we can't be there as often, so that provider might help us with the goal that we're working on. So next we're going to be talking about collaborating with intake. Intake does all the scheduling for new peers, initial IRPs. They also do transfers. They help with reminders for revision IRPs. They are also the key piece to when we get new referrals. They are doing all the new referral paperwork. They are getting all the scripts and authorizations. And then they do a piece called the dual diagnosis intake assessment. So we didn't really talk about this a whole lot, and I'm going to touch upon it real quick. Intake does this piece when somebody gets referred. The DD intake assessment is done. It is an 8-part questionnaire about where the person is already. How are they functioning without peer support? What do they need to work on? And who's helping them with that? And it kind of gives us an overview before we go out into the home. So if you know that you are getting a new person in dual diagnosis, you can go into their plan Incredible and look at that dual diagnosis intake assessment. And that's going to give you a better view of that person before we go out. The other thing is the intake is extremely important to this team. They do a lot of work. They are extremely busy, but they are a wealth of knowledge and they are there for you. And that is so awesome. So we should be giving them our availability as often as they ask. If they are asking you as a supervisor, hey, I need you to help me with this IRP, and you have availability to do so, get back to them. They email, they call, so get back to them whenever they're calling you, or put their number in your phone so that you are more likely to answer it. So the newest way that we've been really trying to give intake some of our availability is monthly. You can do this monthly, you can do this weekly, whatever is best for you. I've been doing it monthly. Here's my availability. And then if you're telling intake your availability, we're going to try to make that the priority. We want to make sure that we're doing the IRPs when we say we're doing them. The other thing that we've been seeing with intake is the revisions not getting done on time. We really need to make sure that that is a priority, because if we don't get the revision IRP done on time, we might have to discharge that person and start them all over again, which is a lot more work. So if you're not available, you should let them know right away, I'm not available. If you are available, you need to make sure that you're going to that IRP and getting done what we need done. So the last piece we're going to talk about is recovery and wellness. Now, working as a supervisor in peer support, if you've already been doing the supervisor, the supervisions and supporting staff, you should know that recovery and wellness is really key for not only our peers, but our staff. But if you're newer, this is going to be a new section for you. So the number one is supporting recovery. So supporting recovery is all about understanding, being patient, and being kind. Understanding where somebody might be coming from and understanding that it might take them a little bit of time. Everyone you meet is going through or has gone through something difficult. So we should be aware of that and honor that journey. And not everybody is going to be the same. You might be doing really well for 1 week, and then the next week you might not do well. And that's where we want them to be able to come to the supervisors and say, hey, I'm not doing well this month, or I'm not doing well today, and being able to say that in confidence. We want to be able to support that and say, okay, how do you need help, or do you need resources? Where can we help you? And we do have a director of recovery. That is Jess Peacock. So you can say, let me talk to Jess Peacock, or why don't you and I set up a meeting with Jess Peacock? She is a really, really good asset to have in our company. She's able to meet and come up with new ways to do things if that's what you need, or coming up with a new schedule, or finding new things that you can do within yourself, maybe coming up with new coping skills. So it's kind of like having your own assessment and being able to work on your own goals. Not everyone is ready to talk about hard parts of their journey, and that's okay too. So maybe if they come to you and they say that they're struggling, and they say, I don't really want to talk about why I'm struggling, that's okay. They have the right to not share that information. And we are here to say, okay, how can I help you, or do you need help? In order to support recovery, we should be instilling hope and encouragement to our employees, peers, and ourselves. We are the harshest critics of ourselves. We are the ones that have the most negative self-talk about ourselves. We tend to only look at the negative when we're not doing well. So making sure that we're also taking care of ourselves, and especially you guys as supervisors. You hear a lot of maybe hard stories. You might hear some people struggling, and then that's really hard on you too. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, using the right coping skills, giving yourself time, and being able to check in with somebody that you can talk to. Peer support is all about equality and meeting each other on the same playing field. We've all been there. I struggle with my own mental health. So knowing that, I struggle, and knowing that other people struggle, I try to be kind and patient and understanding. I understand that not everybody's going to be the same, that we're all going to deal with things a little bit differently. And giving yourself that moment of, oh, they might be going through something. Or, instead of reacting right away, giving yourself a few moments to process what's going on and think about things logically. They might have something more that we're not seeing on the surface. They might just be having a bad day, and giving people some room. So here at PeerStar, we are committed to everyone's recovery and wellness, and that includes our employees. We do not just focus on peers. If you feel like you're struggling, you should let your direct supervisor or regional director know. And we can offer assistance, or we can just vent. If you just need someone to kind of get it out, you can call one of us and say, hey, I just need to talk to somebody. That's okay. If you feel like your CPS is struggling, you should offer the same assistance. Understand that if someone does not want to discuss their personal life, they don't have to. But you can reassure them that if there's something going on and they need that release, maybe we can hook them up with resources out in the community, or ask them who their supports are and encourage them to reach out to people to get that help. And again, we do have a director of recovery. I already talked about Jess, but she is somebody that you should be reaching out to if you're not doing well, or if your CPS is not doing well. I do want to bring this up as well. Everybody has different learning styles, and everyone learns differently. Me, myself, I am a visual learner, so if I was just listening to someone talk, I wouldn't retain as much information because I'm not paying attention, and I know that about myself. So maybe when you are helping your CPS, or the CPS is helping the peer, we should know what type of learner they are, or try to figure that out. Are they more of a visual learner or auditory learner? And if you need more information about that, you can always Google stuff about how to meet people where they're at in their learning. So knowing that you are a supervisor, you should be knowing the peers and the CPS's caseloads. I mean, you're going to be meeting them with them weekly. They're going to be telling you about these individuals. So this is where you can come up with accommodations or different learning styles. And then also learn at times that, maybe even our CPSs as well as our peers need more processing time or repetition. So try not to get frustrated when somebody isn't learning something the first time. Maybe they're having issues with their contact note. It might take them trying it. It might take them learning how to dissect it or learning, how we fix it, what that looks like. There might be different ways that we can get them to understand how to do that. And maybe it does take repetition, and that's okay. So resources. The first thing I'm going to tell you is go to our website. There are a ton of resources there for recovery, wellness, anything that you're really looking for. If you're looking for something specific for dual diagnosis, email me. I will give you websites. I will give you worksheets. I will give you tons of information. So an example would be like maybe you have a CPS that has a peer that's struggling with anger. If you just email me, I'm going to give you a wealth of knowledge and things to try and things to work on. If you went through the dual diagnosis training itself, then you had a lot of resources already emailed to you. So look back in your email for my email address and you will find all those resources that you could use. And if you have any resources, I would love them. So my email address is kmullins@pearstarllc.com. You can email me the resources. I would be very grateful. I am always looking for more things to share with other staff. Or if you have suggestions, I am open to those as well. And I would love to hear what you have to say. And if you have any questions, please reach out.